Hi guys, Mike here. This week's video series is going to be all about distance runners and common patterns and compensations that I see with them. So, for example, I might see one group of runners that have a certain set of favorable mechanics that tend to not get injured, and at the same time I might have a different group of runners that have a not so favorable set of mechanics that do tend to get injured. And we know based on the research too that there are some patterns that come along with running that might set you up for an increased risk of injury. So the format of these videos is basically going to be one test that you can perform on yourself, and then depending on the result of that test, one corrective exercise that you can do to improve that result. The first test that we're going to perform with Ryan here is the dynamic leg swing. So to set up the test, Ryan's going to have one foot in the ground, opposite leg is going to come up to about hip height, and then swing this leg back so that your thigh is parallel with your body. So that is a pretty good job. Some of the common compensations that I typically see are as the leg comes up, that left hip or that standing leg hip will drop down. That tells me there might be some weakness on that stance side hip. Other compensations that I might see is crunching down on the left abdominal wall, which tells me again that the hip is not providing the stability. And this is a static test, so it's going to be even more so as he's running. And then the third compensation, which is hard to see in this position, and you can have people do this in their bare feet, is going to be clenching of the toes into the ground, which again, same deal, tells me that the hip isn't stabilizing Ryan as he's running. Okay, so now that we've identified that there might be some deficiencies based on the first test we did, now we're going to get into a corrective exercise that can help improve the outcomes of that test and eventually your injury risk with running. So Ryan, go ahead and put your right foot on that slider. And now the key here, you're going to slide your right foot out to the side, but while you do that, you have to keep your chin centered over your left heel. So I want that left leg, and it can bend a little bit, but it needs to be straight up and down. So go ahead and slide that right leg out. And Ryan's doing a good job of centering his chin over his left foot. And then what you should feel during this exercise is right glute as you push out. But more importantly, if you go back to our test, you should feel groin on the left side and then glute on the left side, stabilizing you over that left leg.